What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. And before I say anything, I just want to say, let me know down in the comments if you think that having the microphone in front of my face to get the better audio quality is okay. If you think it looks bad or whatever, and you want me to put it out of the screen, I can absolutely do that. I'm just curious, testing out, the different audio quality and what you're going to get with the microphone in the face or off screen. But this TTB Ravens Media daily Ravens content, as always, these opinions are my own. So if you disagree, I want to hear that in the comment section down below. Not all Ravens fans have to believe in the exact same draft philosophies, have to have the exact same scouting reports on everybody. So these are my assumptions. These are my beliefs about certain players and who the Ravens should not draft. Now, this is under the assumption that the Ravens are not acquiring more picks. So if a situation occurred where Orlando Brown Jr. was traded for like a top 15 pick, this would change, because different players would be available, different options. If the Ravens signed players, different things would be available. But at the moment right now, who I don't want the Ravens to add in the draft, these are three players that I don't want. The first player is Amon-Ra St Brown. I actually came out with a video right around the beginning of the channel where I got a leak, basically that Amon-Ra St Brown was talking a lot with the Ravens, and I kind of gave my analysis. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm 100% down with this. But now that the Ravens added Sammy Watkins, they added a good route runner, they do not need Amon-Ra St Brown. Amon-Ra St Brown is a slot receiver, or at least he projects most likely to be a slot receiver with lacking athleticism and lacking ability to separate. He does have decent hands, but if you can't separate and, you don't have, incredible speed, that's what the Ravens need. One, they already have a slot receiver in Duvernay. They already have a route runner in Sammy Watkins. They've got guys that can go over the middle. So what is Amon-Ra going to bring to the table? I'm not saying Amon-Ra is a bad prospect. He could absolutely go to another team that needs a slot wide receiver. But the Ravens need somebody big that can go deep and make those big contested catches. That's not Amon-Ra St. Brown's game. Now, initially, you like the T. Martin connection, but I'm just not a fan. I don't think that it would be a very viable draft pick. I think it would be a waste of a pick, but I've seen a lot of Ravens fans saying on Twitter or in mock drafts, and they're like, oh, wow, we have Amon-Ra St. Brown going to the Ravens. Great pick. I'm sorry. Ravens, please draft a wide receiver with size and ability to go get jump balls. The second player that I think would be, ill-advised to draft is Trayvon Moehrig, which a lot of Ravens fans may disagree with me on this. And if you do, let me know down in the comment section down below. But here's my belief on Trayvon. He's a stud. He's going to be a day one starter wherever he goes. He's almost guaranteed to be a first round pick. Best safety in the draft, kind of clearly at a TCU. Good size, good ball skills, good tackler. I mean, he's got everything. He's the full package at safety. However, the Ravens don't really need a safety. Could they use a safety? Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying it's not a hole. It's just very small. The Ravens much rather need offensive line. They need pass rushers, most particularly edge rushers. But then they also need, a jump ball type of wide receiver. And Trevon Moehrig, if he went to the Ravens, he would bench Deshaun Elliott. And you may be like, no, he'd bench Chuck Clark. We can't bench Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark has the green dot. He's the one that calls the defense. He's the one that's out there that's, hearing all the play calls. We don't have somebody that can take that over. Now, maybe eventually Patrick Queen can. Maybe eventually Malik Harrison can. Maybe eventually Deshaun Elliott can. But at the moment right now, the Ravens do not have a player, in my opinion, that is going to be able to take the green dot from Chuck Clark. If the Ravens brought in somebody like they did Eric Weddle, who was able to just take over the green dot and, run the defense, that would be very good. Then you could draft Moehrig. But at the same time, we're still benching Deshaun Elliott, who I think a lot of Ravens fans love and want to keep on the football field. We love his hit power. We loved when he knocked down Derrick Henry. We love when he, goes out and hits Nick Chubb. That's the type of thing that Deshaun Elliott brings. And we want to keep watching that. He's a good, talented young player. And drafting a safety with your first pick to replace a guy that everybody likes and is, has a ton of potential, I think is just a waste of a pick. Now, once again, I'm going to say I think Trayvon Moehrig is going to be a stud. I think he's a very good safety prospect. The issue is I just don't think that he's going to fit well on the Ravens, because if he came to the Ravens, he'd be good. But then Deshaun Elliott wouldn't get to play. So, would you rather have an edge rusher or a wide receiver that doesn't really replace anybody because we don't have an edge rusher or, big physical wide receiver for them to replace unless you count Miles Boykin, but that dude ain't physical at all. Trayvon Moehrig is just like, yeah, it's a slight upgrade, but like, we need to upgrade a lot bigger holes than doing that. So that's kind of my thoughts on Trayvon Moehrig. Looking at the final player I have, this is the toughest one. I kind of teased it in my last video. TJ Vasher. Do not draft TJ Vasher. And TJ Vasher is a sleeper wide receiver a lot of Ravens fans have been keying into. They've been in the comments. I've seen all of the comments. Go check out TJ Vasher. TJ Vasher is going to be a stud. What about drafting TJ Vasher? Possibly TJ Vasher goes undrafted. Ravens could sign him. Would be a stud. 6'6", incredible size, incredible athleticism. Great length. All things that you want in a wide receiver. The problem is he has no work ethic. That's it. You do not draft a player with no work ethic. It's one thing to be a player where they're like, okay, he's not like a super gym rat. And that's okay. If they come in and they do their work, but they're not like, putting in the extra time. There are players that put in the extra time, non-football reference, but the guys like Kobe Bryant, the guys like Russell Westbrook, Michael Jordan, those type of guys where they're like, okay, we're in the gym all the time, LeBron. But then there's also guys where it's like, yeah, they come in and they do their work. A guy like a Kevin Durant. Sorry, it's easier for me to do basketball references for that. But they're still able to be very good. They do their work. But if you come in and you're known as having no work ethic, this is why his draft stock is so low. This is why he didn't really improve at Texas Tech. Actually, he got worse his final season. It's because he doesn't work whatsoever. He doesn't want to put on the size. They've been wanting him to put on more pounds. So then you're not the skinniest dude on the football field because he's like 6'6" and like almost 200 pounds, like a little bit over 200 pounds. But that's ridiculous. That is way too skinny to be a professional football wide receiver. Maybe you could be in the NBA at that size and frame, but like, come on. You got it. You got to put on size, and he just doesn't do it. He doesn't have that work ethic. And if you look at players in the NFL, no player has ever succeeded in the history of football without having work ethic. You don't have to be, like I said, you don't have to be a gym rat, but you got to want to be able to put in the work. Let's look at Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown was a first-round pick, the first wide receiver off the board. He was like, the most skilled coming out of the draft. He was the clear number one pick, in my opinion. Maybe AJ Brown was the other guy. Some people would argue DK Metcalf. I don't think so. But Hollywood Brown comes into the league, and he plays solid. Has a solid rookie season. He is working every single day. We see it on social media, all that type of things. Like Hollywood Brown, always in the gym, working on his speed, working on his hands, working all this stuff. In the off season, that's huge. And we look at Hollywood, and it's like, people get mad at Hollywood, but like that dude works. He works his tail off to be able to be at the player that he is. And people are expecting a, possible 6th or 7th round pick or potentially undrafted player to come in with no work ethic. Remember, those late round picks are developmental pieces. They are not players that will come in and win you a Super Bowl on pure dominance in their rookie season. It's not going to happen whatsoever. He probably won't play. But like, you expect this guy that doesn't work to develop his game whatsoever? He's not. He's going to come into the league. He's going to be the same player he is, probably get cut. Honestly, he may get cut. He may not make the 53-man roster because he just doesn't put in the work, and teams want to see that. So TJ Vasher, yes, he has the intangibles, the things you can't teach, the size, the speed, the hands, the length, but he won't work. And it's really unfortunate for me to say this because when I first watched his tape, I was like, yeah, I want this guy. I had him in a mock draft, I believe. But when I was doing my video yesterday, I was researching a lot into him so I could get, a full grasp because I was going to put him in the late round steals. And I was like, ooh, don't want that. Don't want that. But let me know down in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on these three players, Amon-Ra St Brown, Trevon Moehrig, and TJ Vasher. Also, it's opening day for baseball today. So, if you're a baseball fan, let me know down in the comments who your favorite team is. I'm going to make the assumption that most people watching this video are Orioles fans. But, if you're not an Orioles fan, let me know. But Thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. Like the video if you like the video. And I'll see all of you again tomorrow.